guys, it's Celine here at Natural Living Homesteader, and you're in my backyard homestead. So right now I just thought I would take you on a week four garden tour. So basically it's been really cold here in Illinois. We had a really chilly spring, and I planted my garden a month ago and nothing. It just sat here. Nothing happened. Very few seeds, just little sprouts, and nothing got any taller. It just kind of was stagnant because it was too chilly. So in the last 3 or 4 days, last week we had like 5 days of rain, and it was cool and chilly. And then this last 3 days or so, 3 or 4 days, it's been really nice. It went from the 50s and 60s into the 80s, and we're seeing some serious garden growth here. So I'm going to turn you around and just take you on a quick week four garden tour. Okay, so this is my backyard garden. This is the whole shebang right here. I have a very narrow 8-foot backyard, and I'm trying to use the most of the space that I have, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job of it. So let's just get started here. Over here are some of my herbs. In the back is Spilanthes, which is called the toothache plant, and then St. John's wort is right there. Then these two are chamomile, and this one right here is thyme in the blue. And then in the palette is spinach, and it is really doing not so hot. And I don't know if it's because of the palette that it's in, or I don't know what. So I've planted twice now. The first batch is coming up. The second one isn't really done anything yet. It takes a while for spinach to come up. And we'll see how that goes. Then we go to this bed. And as you can see, I've got all these tall towers and all these tall sticks. And the whole reason is because I'm growing up. I'm going to make the best use I can of my space. So we've got, in this bed, we have, with this first tower, I've got a couple of climbing cucumbers. I've got onions, and then I also have corn there in the back. I have corn in the back of almost all of them. And I've got some dill there, and then I've got four I think, bush cucumbers. And then of course I've got marigolds, and the onions and the dill are all companion planting to keep the bugs away. So over here in this bed, I've got kale, and I've got some basil and some marigolds as companion planting to take care of pests, to help take care of pests. Sorry for my shaky camera, guys. And then I've got corn along the back row, and I've got bush beans in this. And over in the back corner in this one is lavender. So we will move on to this one. This bed, let's get a little bit closer here. Forgive my camera ineptness, guys. This is not my forte yet, but I'll get there. Okay, so we've got lemon balm over here. In the pot, I've got more marigolds. All across the front, I have radishes. I think I'm going to transplant that lemon balm because I think it's going to take over if I don't. Then we've got yarrow. I've got more marigolds, more rosemary. I just planted some purple millet in the back. I planted, I don't know if you can see this very well or not, but I planted, the sun is in my eyes and I can't see what you're seeing, but I planted some butt ends of store-bought celery and organic celery and organic, um, yeah, what's it called? The lettuce. I can't think of what the lettuce is called. But anyway, I planted the butt end of those, and they're sprouting like crazy. I've got sage in there. I have got my spindly looking cilantro. For some reason, my cilantro growing skills suck because they always get so tall and spindly on me so fast. So if you know what I'm doing wrong, guys, put it in the comments and let me know, because I really would want to know. Something that I haven't talked a lot about, or maybe I have, I'm not sure. I haven't hidden it, but gardening is fairly new to me. When I was a kid, we gardened. I remember gardening and canning and doing all those things as a child. But as an adult, I never did those things. And I never saw my mom do them again after, um, we all left the house, and her financial status changed a little bit, and she didn't need to, can to be able to make sure we ate. And so it just kind of became a lost skill, something that I had no recollection of how to do. And I've been canning the last few years, and I've been loving it, and I'm doing a lot of canning. And that's the intention of this garden, is to have a lot of things to put up for the winter, to hold us through to the winter. But gardening is fairly new to me. Again, I gardened in my 20s, but I haven't gardened since. And now I'm 60-ish, and I'm just starting all over again. So you're going on a journey with me that, this is a fairly new journey. I've done some container gardening, but nothing really serious. Like, I'm really serious this year. Okay, so down here is peppermint, and then these are more of my herbs. Then in the blue pot is Echinacea, which I make a tincture of, and and my little funny looking fence is in the way there, but that's Echinacea, and I make a tincture from that, and for cold and flu season. And then lavender in the yellow. In the orange pot is uh, um, horseradish, which I use for my fire ciders in the wintertime. Then more rosemary, and then down there in that little pot right there is calendula, and that's another beautiful flowering herb. It's great for pollinators, but it's also great for lots of healing issues. And then we'll switch over to this side. Now again, as you see, my towers, those are old TV antenna, and it was in 3 parts, and so I had my husband take it apart for me, and I am using them for towers for my cucumbers and squash to climb up. And those are, let's see if I can get you, if you can see this. These are Gold Rush zucchini. I have never tried these. I've never even heard of these or seen these before. But I couldn't find any other zucchinis. I planted zucchini twice and it didn't come up. So I must have had bad seed. And I planted quite a few just to make sure I got some, and nothing, absolutely nothing. So I went out searching, and nobody has any seeds and nobody has any plants left. And so I settled on these. I thought, well, that's interesting. I'll give those a try. So I bought 2 plants, only to discover that one of the pots had 3 plants in it, and the other pot had 2. So I'm giving 3 of them away and keeping 2 of them. But that'll be interesting to see what these Gold Rush zucchinis are all about. Let me just put this back so I don't forget what's what, because 60-ish memory, Anyway, there's a lot of stuff here to remember. And so this one, and this one are the Gold Rush. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but yesterday when I went to plant them, let's see if I can get you close enough to see this. I'm having a hard time seeing with the sun is starting to come up here. I hope you can see this. But yesterday when I went to plant here and here are actual green zucchini plants that weren't up before. So now I'm going to have plenty of zucchinis. Over here is, I'm going to move back so the sun's not so in my face. There we go. Right there is yellow straight neck squash. Yeah, see, there's the zucchini. There's one just on the other side of the leg of that tower, and then one right smack dab in the middle. Okay, so that's yellow straight neck squash. Then we've got some basil, which is companion planting, some marigolds, some onions. These are sweet red onions. I wasn't thinking when I bought them they were just there, and I got excited and I grabbed them. These are probably not good storage onions, so I'm going to have to put them up. I'm going to have to freeze them, chop them up and freeze them, and I'll probably pickle some. And I cook with pickled onions all the time, just like I do regular onions. So there's jalapeno. There's 2 jalapeno there. And then, is that everything? And then there's a Mr. Stripey tomato. That is an heirloom tomato. And more basil. Then there is a San Marzana tomato, which is a great paste tomato. I'm going to try to find a couple more of those. I transplanted some sucker branches, but they don't look so hot, so I may have to get some more plants on that one. Then we've got in the back with the tomato cage, that's the only it's the only determinate tomato I've gotten. And that was all by accident, and I'm so glad, because I really only want indeterminate tomatoes. I want them to grow up. I don't want them to bush out. And as you'll notice on these tomatoes, that the stems at the bottom are really bare, and that's intentional. I am trimming the stems on these things to train them to grow up, and also trimming the branches off the bottom to train them to grow up, and also to keep them, see, when this gets a little bit bigger, I'll probably take this one off, but to keep them off the ground so that I don't have mold and blight issues that tomatoes get. And then I'll have enough room to plant low things underneath them to keep these beds fuller than they even are now. As you can see, I've got corn in the back. There's corn popping up there. And then I have some Cherokee purple heirloom plants here. And there are a couple there that I don't even know what they are. They were extras in a pot, and I forgot to mark them. So we'll see. Then I've got several Romas. And so Romas are good canning tomatoes as well. Then I've got several sweet peppers. I'm going to plant some more sweet peppers. I did an experiment at Aldi's. I bought the little long sweet peppers that come in a bag, several in a bag. And I took the seeds from that, dried them, and planted them, and they shot up like wildfire. So I'm going to plant some of those in buckets. But those are the sweet red bell peppers there. So I have a total of 14 tomato plants, but I'm not sure 3 of them are going to make it. So I am going to buy a couple more, I think. And did I show you my herbs? I did show you my herbs, I think. Yes. All right. So I just planted these yesterday. These are more kale, and this is like the assorted kind of every kind kale. And there are 4 of them in that pot, and that's probably too many. But again, I'll just keep them thinned out and eating them. In the green pot is called horsetail. That is an herb that is great for hair growth, nails, bones, you know, all of that. And back there, finally, my turmeric is starting to come up. I was wondering if that was going to happen. Here's my strawberries. I've just got 2 that are ripe, and there's a third one back there ripening. So I'm going to give these probably till the end of the day because my grandsons are driving me nuts to be able to eat these strawberries. I don't know if I'm going to have any strawberries to work with this year if they don't leave them alone. Then behind the strawberries are radishes and onions. I suspect next year this entire raised bed is going to be strawberries. So that's that bed, and that's like a 5x5 bed. And then this bed it's got corn in the back, and this is broccoli rabe, and I love broccoli rabe. If you haven't ever tried it, try it. It's delicious. Marshmallow herb here, which I use in my sinus and allergy tincture, and lettuce. It came up splotchy too, and I've planted a second time, and it's just starting to come up. So I'm not sure. It might be the pallets. They just might not be working. I'll have to let you know as time goes by. Then yesterday, right along this fence row, you can't even tell, but I planted noodle beans come up. Alrighty, so here is, let's see if you can see it here. These 2 plants are my garden huckleberry bushes. I'm really excited about that. These little beauties here are my elderberry bushes. So that's it, guys. I really appreciate you. I'm so excited to take you along this journey with me. And that's it for today. Love you guys. God bless.